Good morning, everyone. Here's your weather hazard briefing for Friday, September 3rd. Looks like most of this Labor Day weekend is going to be on the warm side and the dry side. We do have to get rid of a few showers and thunderstorms lingering this morning over the southeast corner. Those should be out of here before noon. Otherwise, there's been some very dry air over the rest of central and eastern Idaho, and that will continue to settle over the rest of the area in the next 24 hours, and that will continue into next week. That means some very poor humidity recovery at night in the higher elevations. Now, we don't necessarily have critical fuels everywhere in central and eastern Idaho, but if you look at the wind and RH combination, if we happen to get things to align just right, we'll have some periods where critical fire weather conditions will continue. We will see another pattern change on the horizon, and that looks to come later next week. We actually have two, one that will be coming in the next few days, and then a switch back by about 1 week from now. Now, here's the lightning we've had with our thunderstorms in the past 24 hours. And like we said, there are still thunderstorms ongoing in the southeast corner this morning. We have a little bit of moisture and a little bitty low moving north and east through that area. It looks like your best chance of showers and thunderstorms this morning will be generally right around the Utah-Idaho border, around I-15 up to, around Freedom, Wyoming, that general area, Alpine, the Star Valley area. Those storms are moving off to the north and to the east. We also can't rule out a straggler of a shower or storm up north of Driggs, up towards the border with Yellowstone. Otherwise, our storm track is going to starting to shift to the north. You can see a lot of activity moving into Canada. High pressure will be building over the southwestern U.S. and building into our area the first part of next week. We continue to watch the smoke thinning out across the area, although in the central mountains and into the Snake Plain, the boundary fire is continuing to produce some smoke this morning, and that trend will continue later on today. Smoke thinning out, and actually probably the best area for dealing with anything today will be across the South Hills. Now, we will have some impacts the next several days, not necessarily with smoke tomorrow. There will be some smoke around because of the boundary fire, but a lot of that thicker smoke, at least temporarily, will be out of here. It's going to be the low humidity. Now, going into Sunday, we have some winds picking back up again, and we could have some bigger impacts over the central mountains and portions of the Snake Plain, and that trend just continues into Monday. It looks like Tuesday it's not too breezy as the high-pressure ridge builds over us, but we still have some very low humidity, and smoke will likely be back into our area. And speaking of that smoke forecast, you'll see as we go through the day, that smoke continues to be pushed to the south and to the east with that storm moving through here today anyway. You can see the boundary fire picking up a lot of smoke and shifting it into the central mountains and over into the Snake Plain. A lot of that will linger in the valleys tomorrow morning in the central mountains, and then you can see all that smoke to our south and to the west. Guess what? It'll be back in here as we head towards the latter half of the Labor Day weekend. So how are things looking a little more specifically through that holiday weekend? Here's the humidity this afternoon in many areas, be in the single digits and teens. It'll be drying out over the southeast corner this afternoon. And high temperatures today, not too bad. 70s across much of the region. Mountains will be in the 50s and 60s for this afternoon. And looking at the humidity, we talked about overnight humidity being pretty low, and you can see that in the central mountains and especially across the South Hills and the southeast highlands. Some of these elevations, once you get to mid and upper elevations in the mountains, some very low humidity recovery, and normally it's not necessarily this bad, but we do have a pattern that's setting up and has been around for a few days. It's going to continue. Single-digit humidity is very common for tomorrow across the area. Highs warming up to 75 to about 85 degrees in the lower elevations, still 60s and 70s in some of our high country locations tomorrow. Now, going into Sunday, the winds do pick up across the area, and some of these places, especially in the central mountains, seeing some gusts 25 to 35 miles an hour. May not be for very long, just maybe a couple of hours later in the afternoon and into the evening hours as well. But again, pretty breezy for some folks. And there are the humidities again for Sunday. They're creeping up just slightly in the afternoon, but still very dry conditions in the overnight hours. And that's why we've been watching the boundary fire the past few days. It's been burning at all hours of the day and night, and it's been producing quite a bit of smoke even in the overnight hours. Sunday temperatures will be just a few degrees warmer. We might see closer to 90 degrees once you get into the Treasure Valley and portions of the Magic Valley, and also up towards Chalice and Salmon. Otherwise, it'll be in the 70s up in the mountains. Monday will be breezy once again with some gusts around 25 to 35 miles an hour. Not quite as strong necessarily as we'll be seeing on Sunday. And the humidity values just kind of giving the idea. It doesn't change a whole lot, at least through the Labor Day weekend. Temperatures on Monday just 1 or 2 degrees warmer versus Sunday. And Tuesday and Wednesday temperatures will be very similar. Later next week, we talked about the ridge over us. That ridge gets pushed off to the east, gets shifted eastward. That's going to allow an area of low pressure to carve itself out over the western U.S. That actually, maybe by about a week from now, it may take a little longer. We're going to see more moisture moving back in and more showers and thunderstorms back in the forecast. But that will be not until we get towards about 1 week from now. It may not even be until next weekend at this point. Like we said, we do have a few showers and thunderstorms over the southeast corner to get rid of. Otherwise, high pressure will be building in. We've got some very dry air that's going to remain in place for the next several days, and that may prove to get some of these fires that have been going across our areas continuing to flare up at times through that period. Everyone have a great Friday, have a great Labor Day weekend, and please do stay safe out there.